had a great weekend. And I cannot be more excited about our session today. And, this week for us over here is a really important week. We believe that what we're putting together will be our most impactful training yet. So if you see or follow me on Instagram, I was talking about we were going to create the best training we've ever made for over 20,000 people. And if you've read Greg Hart's article in Inman about Compass's end-to-end platform, what we really want to build for our community, our clients, and essentially all of you is how do we use this end-to-end platform all together, right? So over the course of the way that we finish up the year, the way we start next year, it's really how do I take all the best aspects of the technology that's available at Compass and put them together in systems, structures, processes, emails, what to say, how to do it, and have somebody build that all together. We would like to put that together so that there's one place on how to do it, kind of like an operating system. So that will be our project that we're working on for all of you through the end of the year. And what I know in any kind of skill that you're learning, in any kind of process that you're learning, you're not going to learn it one time. The repetition creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. Momentum allows you to find multipliers, and thus is how you grow and scale your business. So the idea that you're going to go through this for 6 months, learn it all, and it's all magically going to be better, it's not going to happen. This is an ongoing commitment of anything you do, whether it's here or somewhere else. So a couple of things we want to be able to do for you. Number one, when we reopen this program and we start it again next year, one of the things that we wanted to do is how do you get the most out of coaching? We know in surveying and speaking to a lot of you, everyone always says, well, I've done this for a bunch of months, but now I need to implement all of it. That means you did it all the wrong way. And we keep hearing that over and over again. So we want to show people how to get more out of this. You don't have to go through everything. You need to understand how to take the best parts of what you're learning and implement it into your business as we go on. The second part to all this is time blocking. Now, if you don't know how to plan and control your time, it's going to be very challenging for you to get any of this stuff done. So what I want to go through is a more advanced system of time blocking with everybody today. And this is going to be a two-part series. The first part's going to be learn, the next part's going to be do. So today we're going to be learning and tomorrow we're going to be doing. Because what I understand is for you to play offense, you need to own your time. And in speaking to real estate agents, for whatever reason, they don't feel like they own their time. They feel like somebody else does. And just the sheer nature of that doesn't really work because you would never hire another business that operates the way that you do. You'd be like, this is crazy. I can't figure it out. But for some reason, real estate agents feel like their name is not Callie Forbes. Their name is on demand. Right? It's not Wayne Miller, it's on demand. Your birth certificate doesn't say on demand. It should not be an on-demand business, nor does it have to be an on-demand business. But for some reason, as time went on, we felt this way. So if you think about it like this, over the last 5 years, the amount of things that have been expected for you to do as an agent has continued to evolve and grow. More work, same pay, and some markets are cutting your commissions. But the question is, have you evolved in that same exact capacity, right? So as I think about this, I start this off today with one of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn. If you've ever heard Jim Rohn, he has like this really annoying voice, but it sticks in your head forever. And he'll say, for things to change for you, you have to change. So today's about what are we willing to do differently? How are we going to approach our business, our days, our lives in a different way to be more productive? Because if you don't choose the changes for yourself, the world is going to choose them for you. And if you look at history in real estate, it's not very pretty and it doesn't work in our favor. So really, we're going to go into time blocking today. So here's my question. What gets in the way of time blocking? You can't win a game by playing defense. To be in control of your life and business, you need to play offense and be in control of your time. So before we start anything, I want you all, there's about 95 people of you here today. I want you all to write down what gets in the way of time blocking. Any thought, any limiting belief, any excuse. Where are you stuck? So everyone put in here why they're not able to time block. it was really interesting when we did this in the morning session. So we should have any answer. You could put 5 different answers. This is actually really important. So go ahead, feel free to take a moment and do so. Feeling overwhelmed, thinking I can do more than it's possible, telephone calls coming, personal distractions, allowing myself to be easily distracted, last minute appointments, life, don't focus on one thing at a time, clients, day-to-day business getting in the way, instant gratification, short attention span, complacency, unrealistic setting time, sidetracked, dog, I like that. Time blocking feels like it's time to do things I don't like to do. So when something else comes up, it's more fun to do them. And unfortunately, family is a reality, right? Because none of our family members chose to be here. So that's one of the reasons you do have to time block. Now, remember, when it comes to time blocking, there are objections and conditions, right? And the objection is, I don't want to go running outside because it's raining. The condition is, I broke my ankle, I can't run. So some of these things, when it comes to time blocking, there's always a objection, but what are really conditions? Like your kids, your family, those are conditions. You can't really change that, especially if you have kids under 10 years old. Christine, distractions with business fires to put out and day-to-day business phone calls. Fantasy football. I feel you on that one. No leagues for me this year. Bob, a lack of clear plan and inability to use the tools effectively. I live like everything's an emergency. So look, let me stop this for a second. In reading all of this means that all of you are very challenged and are living with a certain degree of pain, frustration, and anxiousness. If you feel like everything is time sensitive, if you feel like, you don't put things on a calendar, life's getting in the way, and that people are calling and that you can't be disciplined to it and that things aren't fun, you want to jump somewhere else, and you're constantly putting out fires, that does not sound like any kind of fulfilling life. It really doesn't. And honestly, it makes me sad. So it is my mission to make sure that you learn how to do this. So the first thing I want to do actually is a little bit off of where our deck is for today. I need to help you learn how to prioritize your tasks, right? I shared the same system with my 9-year-old son and he got it. So I know you'll be able to get it too. So if you categorize your tasks, you have to start thinking about them like this. And we really need to get present. So I will give you my word to give you a foolproof system and be here every step of the way to support you so that you can learn how to do this. Because if you don't learn how to do the skill, essentially you're going to cap off where you can grow. And you are going to make mistakes. You're not going to provide a better quality of service, and you're just going to feel stuck. It's like being in dodgeball where everyone's throwing the ball at you and you never get to throw it back. So as long as you can make that promise of change and openness and being disciplined, I'll make the promise of making sure to give you the best high-level systems. So let's think about these 3 categories of tasks. There's certain tasks are just tasks, but then there's important, and I'd write these 3 things down. Important, urgent, and urgent important. These are 3 ways to break down your tasks. And now this is how we start really understanding how to prioritize things. So I had my daughter clean her room and organize everything because I said, Valentina, you lose so much time in a day. And she has like mental breakdowns. She can't find her Frozen dolls or Barbie dolls. And I was explaining to her, look at all the energy and time you expend looking for things as opposed to just organizing them. So we went and bought a bunch of bins and everything. And I told my daughter she could do her room, and then we go to my son's room and he wanted to do it right now. And I asked him, I go, is this important to do? He goes, yes. I go, is this urgent to do? He goes, well, what do you mean, Daddy? I go, well, look, if we don't get to Michael's before 5 o'clock, it closes, right? There's an actual like time deadline to it. I go, if we do your room after 5 o'clock, will something happen? He goes, no. So I go, what is it? He goes, it's important. I said, well, what about all the stuff that we have to get before Michael's? That's urgent. He goes, there's a time deadline to it. So urgent tasks are things that actually have a time deadline to it. Urgent, important means that they have a time deadline to it. And if it's not done within that time frame, there is a negative consequence. So let me give you an example. There's a highest and best offer today at 5 p.m., right? If it's not handled today, that's urgent, important. There's a time deadline. There'll be a negative consequence to your client, correct? If the highest and best is tomorrow at 5 o'clock, is it urgent, important that you deal with it today? No. It can wait till tomorrow, or it could be prioritized later in your day. People are like, well, I have a highest and best. Well, when's the highest and best due? Tomorrow. I need to speak with my client. Why do you need to speak with your client? Because if I don't, they're not going to want to work with me. Didn't they sign a contract to list and sell your home? Yes. But then you don't have a contract. See, our inability to time block is understanding how to categorize our tasks and then how to focus and prioritize them during the day. So even when you set a time block, you don't know what to do in your time block. And the only thing that should break your time blocks are like these urgent and important tasks. Because if you can't focus on what you're doing, you're going to be challenged. So if you feel like you're challenged with time blocking and prioritizing your tasks, type in the word time in the chat. Like you put on Michael Jackson, you are not alone. You know, like look at all these people. So look, this is not an independent problem. This is a problem that we all have. My goal for all of you is to master time. So let's get further into this now. Do you guys all understand how to prioritize your tasks? You can nod your head if we're all there. If you and what you want to do is take these three things. Remember, real estate is a repetitious business, right? So what's going to happen now is I want you to start sticking tasks underneath this. So when you have that overwhelm and urge feeling to stop what you're doing, really start questioning yourself. Say, Martha, is this something I need to do? David, is this something I really need to do right now? Half the time the answer is no. This is a professional business. You're not open heart surgeons where people are dying here. And for the people that felt like everyone's dying, there's not 49 offers for a house anymore where you feel like you have to work on demand. Okay, now let's get into this. The 2-tab rule. We had a lot of fun with this one this morning. Unless you're doing a project that requires research, you should not have more than 2 tabs open at once. I don't know what it is, but people are like tab hoarders, right? I can see you laughing, Joanne. You know, here it comes. People just out themselves in the chat. It's like people hoard tabs as if you close the website, that's not going to be there anymore. You go back. So here's what happens, right? I love my 30 plus tabs. All right, this is so true. And look, here's the reality of it. If you're being productive, what happens is this, the good and the bad. The good says I have 2 tabs open, right? I have my email and my Compass platform open because I'm really focusing on updating my deals or following up with stuff. You don't need more than that. Now, what happens when you're distracted is you start with 2 tabs, an email, a phone call, a text comes in. Then you start going into something else and you open a bunch of tabs and something else gets you distracted. And before you know it, you have like 10 tabs open and you're like, shit, man, what was I supposed to do? And then you feel stuck. And then you're like, where do I start? Now I have all these tabs open. I don't want to close all these tabs because they have to do with something. And this is how tab hoarding happens. So for all my tab hoarders anonymous, it has to stop because all these tabs are a distraction. And you never really go back to them. You eventually go back to them and you close them all out. It's like, what am I doing? And then you start all over again. Parkinson's law, the amount of work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Do you have any idea how much work you can do in 30 minutes if you just pay attention? It's ridiculous. When was the last time you sat somewhere quiet or even with music and just listened, or excuse me, not even listened, just paid attention to how much actual work you were done? So think about it. If you give yourself a week to complete a 2-hour task, and psychologically speaking, the task will increase in complexity and become more daunting, so it fills 2 weeks. It may not even fill the extra time with work, but it's just stress and tension and having to get it done. Remember, it's all about psychology and understanding how our minds work. Think about this. Now, why is time blocking important? It improves your productivity. Most people think if they block time and say no to things, it's the other way around. It creates more free time. By being focused and improving your productivity, you have a better quality of life. You also have a better quality of work when you're really paying attention to what you're doing. Builds momentum. When you get things done, you feel good. You want to do more stuff because you're in that flow state. Now, let's start with actual systems. Now, here's how you start thinking through your emails. Now, the amount of time that people spend in emails in a day is the most absurd thing in the entire world. So you can write this down. And your inbox is an organized system for other people's agendas. Organized system for other people's agendas. Look, when I want something from you, I email you. When you want something from me, you email me. It is the definition of playing defense. So when we get overwhelmed, we don't know what to do, we just go to our email because we feel like we're doing something. So here's 4 folders to categorize your emails so you know what to prioritize. Obviously, there's urgent. This works really well if you have an assistant. If you look at it and you look at an email quickly, you can just filter them through urgent, end of day, like I have to get this done by the close of business, end of week, it's not quite as important to do today, but I got to do it. And then visibility. Now, let me walk you through this. Urgent are the things that you need to do first and are most pressing. End of day are things that you have to give people answers by the end of business or something you need to get done for tomorrow. End of week, an example is, let's see, Taylor could email me and say, hey, I'm considering renovating my home. Could you give me the name of a contractor, Chirag? No rush. I respond to him. I put it in the end of week folder. I know I have to get it done for the end of the week. You know, if Taylor sends me an email that says, hey, Chirag, I'm going to start looking for contractors and we want to start our process tomorrow. Can you please send me someone? I can put that to my end of day folder. If an email comes in and it says, hey, Chirag, I'm going to be doing the final walkthrough at 2, and I drove by and I saw an issue. Can you give me a call? Well, that's urgent, and I need to prioritize when that gets done. Do you guys see how we start thinking through this? A lot of time blocking is just changing your method of thinking. It's like updating and upgrading your operating system. What do I need to plan for daily? What are the main areas of your business that you need to invest in every day? I can always say when I meet new coaching clients, I can look at their calendar and I can tell them what they actually do every day. And in some cases, I could guess most people's income. So if I look at your calendar right now, is there anywhere every single day that you reach out to your past clients and spheres of influence? When do you follow up on leads? Remember the KPIs of money, tracking your money, your daily, weekly, monthly costs of living and what you spend money on every week. This is how you lose most money because you don't track anything. Your 10-minute business plan. What income producing activities I do today, what distractions got in the way, what will I do differently tomorrow? Providing 5-star customer service. These are some of the things that we suggest are in people's calendars every day. Where are they in yours? And what do you need to put in your calendar every day to really move the needle in your business? And these things that you put in there to move the needle, these are non-negotiable time blocks. Right? Unless like the world's melting or there's a family emergency, you don't change this. These are things that if you don't do every day, that you should get anxious about. You should get more anxious about not proactively reaching out to people than you ever should about missing an email. It's like completely backwards. Now, theme days. Look, these are more like projects, right? Whether you're working on a marketing calendar, a social media plan, going through business planning, projects, filming content, what are your theme days for doing so? When do you put the time in your calendar to do so? Think about this. These are all the things that need to show up in a week, a month, and a quarter. Now, how to start time blocking, right? You need to essentially understand what you really want. And my suggestion to you is put your personal time in first. So if you have your kids' soccer games or you want to go to the gym every day, Stacey, I need you to prioritize yourself first, right? I need all of us, Bob, to make sure that we have the things that we need for ourselves to be healthy, to feel good, to be energized, to be engaged. Because if you're not the best version of yourself, you're not doing anyone any favors. You're literally just setting yourself up for burnout. So if you look at your calendar and there's no me time in there, then there's a problem. You can't show up for everyone else in the best way possible if you don't show up for yourself first. That's where that whole statement, I before you, comes from. Or put your own, the whole put your own oxygen mask on first thing. Think about this. Look at your calendar when you get off this call. And it's like, I want to do, you'll have people with these crazy GCI goals. I'm say, great, let me look at your calendar. I'm like, you don't have any of these habits in here. How are you going to reach any of these goals at the times not set aside in your calendar? It's a non-negotiable. We leave ourselves free times because we think there's going to be an emergency. Or the people that resist time blocking because they don't want to be constrained. Oh, I don't want to feel trapped. You're not feeling trapped. You're actually creating freedom. So whether you look at your weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, annual goals, look at your calendar and ask yourself, do these goals reflect somebody who's going to make this much money? Now, let's start talking about avoiding distractions. When you're time blocking, stop checking your goddamn email all day. Put your phone away. Set up special ringtones for your loved ones. Your clients will live for an hour. And follow the 2-tab rule. It's really important that you learn how to avoid these things. This is all about playing offense. Remember all those things that you guys said in the group about why you're unable to time block and how challenging it is. Think about this. If you're going through your business year after year after year, not being able to do this, now's the time for change. The things that I'm sharing with you are what my most successful clients and agents I've met in my life are doing. There's nothing I'm telling you that's some like hyperbole, BS, pie in the sky, you've never sold real estate concept that's just not going to work. I've both sold real estate and trained some of the best real estate agents in the entire country. And I want to share with you what they do that works and how you can do it too. And remember the 2-tab rule. And Mary, if you want to have a 3rd tab open for a calendar, I don't really count a calendar as like a tab because it's like a thing. It's like part of your Gmail, right? But inside Gmail, there's actually a calendar button that you can look at your calendar without even having to open another tab, but that's a whole different thing. Technology and time blocking. How does this all tie back to Compass Platform and our original promise that we're talking about today in creating the best systems on how to use everything together? Well, technology creates an organized system where you can effectively utilize your time blocks. Remember what we talked about Business Tracker? We just show up, we filter the high confidence, and then we're able just to knock out all the tasks for our best leads, our best clients, and the things that are most important. Now, time into organization and tech equals more time out and better client experiences. If you're putting in your notes, if you're putting in your tasks, you're putting things into Business Tracker, then it's easy for you to do these things during time blocking. And this is how you're able to get so much more done in a 30-minute block than looking around in a bunch of different places to find stuff. And ultimately, to stay in business, you must evolve. This business keeps changing. I'm more concerned about agents in the next 18 months than I've ever been before in the 15 years I've been in real estate. Things are going to change. The last time I checked, the internet is winning the battle against us in terms of commoditizing parts of our business. People expect more. People want organization. People want organizational alignment. People want agents to provide more value than just opening up a home, and you already do. But if you're not organized and you're constantly like chasing your clients are chasing you, you're doing this wrong. Real estate are predictable transactions. So we need to do a better job on our end of telling clients what the right expectations are, what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and how they're going to receive it. That's an evolution for a lot of us, because most of you put your challenge with time blocking. Now, by the end of the week, we're going to upload a worksheet here that'll help you kind of sort through this based on the sessions we have today and tomorrow. So what do we do going forward? Number one, go through your calendar and look at the way your calendar is set up. Does it really reflect someone that's going to earn the amount of income? Number two, go through and start categorizing your tasks. Is this important, urgent, or urgent important? Number three, look into the way you do your emails. Number four, is there time for those main things every single day? Joanne had a question. What is visibility? Visibility is just like things you want to look at. Like say it's like multiple rounds of a postcard that you're not really part of and you're part of a team. Prospecting is urgent, important. It's the most important thing that you have to do every day. Just remember this. If you don't do something for your future self will have a problem. Listen, remember, we asked you that whole 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like you should carve out, it doesn't take more than an hour just to reach out to people you know. Remember, when you're reaching out, create a deadline. Hey, David, I had 10 minutes before the doctor's appointment. I got here earlier and I just thought of you and I want to give you a quick call. Hey, I had 5 minutes before this appointment started, David. I just want to reach out to you and see how you're doing. It doesn't take that long. And it's small actions done consistently, you'll produce oversized results. Does anyone have any questions? The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is contact 5 people in your past clients or sphere day, do 4 events a year, 3 compass agents, 2 handwritten notes, and reach out to 1 customer and see how you can make their experience better. But really, if you just want to do it like just quick and efficiently, contact 5 people in your sphere, reach out to 2 or 3 agents every day, and at least send 1 to 2 handwritten notes. That is the most effective way of growth. It's just an ongoing, consistent thing, right? 5 calls a day, 25 calls a week, 100 calls a month, 10 months out of the year, thousands of conversations, a 1% conversion rate, which is ridiculously low. And people, there's another 10 deals. But you need the time block for this. For a lot of us, it's starting to keep track of what are our distractions today and how do we change them tomorrow. Remember the 10-minute business plan. Everything you need is inside of you and in this community. So as long as you keep showing up, we're going to keep giving you more. We're going to keep doing more. We had the Market Shift webinar last week, which is really coaching forward. And our goal as a company is to pour our best resources into this program. So it'll keep evolving, keep getting better. And we appreciate all the feedback that you've given us. So I hope everyone's excited, inspired. Hit in if you're really committed to owning your time and moving forward in a positive way and actually making a change, right? Because if you don't do anything after this, like this has to change. We've given you a couple high level systems on how to block your time, how to pick your tasks, what to block into the calendars. There's so many different things here for you to be able to do this. And most importantly, you have each other. So as always, with love in my heart, I love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. And be in front of a computer, ideally, turn your camera on and get ready to work, because I'm going to challenge all of you to time block and start putting this stuff into your calendar. No one is leaving without actually doing something. Like that is the goal of doing this. I'll randomly call in a couple of people. I'll start going through examples. I'll work through any excuse, fallacy, dream, limiting belief you have. And one person has it, everybody has it. So let's all own our time. Let's work together, dream a little bigger, and make our lives a little better and earn more in the process. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.